Hey, what is up, everybody? Good morning and happy Monday to you. Welcome to another episode of Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. And as you can tell, I am Amanda less this morning. There is no Amanda this morning. Amanda's a little under the weather. So sorry, Amanda. I miss you. I hate doing the show without you. I'm typically not my best without my partner in crime here. However, the show must go on, right? As they say. And I know that we have a lot of people who really enjoy watching us in the morning. So, I figured instead of not doing a show at all, I figured I'd come on and at least, share some music discussion, some topics with you today to get your Monday started, get your week started off right. So, welcome everybody once again to Song Swap Showdown. Typically, how the show normally works when I have a co-host is that Amanda and I each swap 3 songs each with each other that we don't think the other's heard before, and those songs are picked by spinning the wheel of themes at the end of every single show. Then we then take those songs, we swap them, and then we rate them on a scale of 1 to 5 records, with 1 being a dumpster fire of a song and 5 being heavenly music to our ears. That's right. This week's theme was supposed to be songs that get stuck in your head, and Amanda and I both have our playlists ready to go. And spoiler alert, if you follow us on Spotify and you already looked at this week's on our playlist, which we update every week, you already would know our 6 songs. But since she's not here today, we are going to postpone that episode to next Monday. So if you tune in next Monday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be back and we will do the songs that get stuck in your head episode. Today, I figured, once again, since Amanda's not here today, and I'm flying a little solo and I'm a little off the cuff, I did sort of prepare a little bit of something that we could talk about, a possible topic of discussion for today. And one of those things is that I realized, listen, as we get older here, the records we grew up with, the records that we love also get older and they age. And it was kind of stunning for me to realize that this record in particular, and this sent me down a rabbit hole, by the way, that 55 years ago, Led Zeppelin's debut record becomes Hard Rock Paradigm. Right, and this is coming from Ultimate Classic Rock Culture .com. So this is ultimateclassicrock.com. Check them out. Great site. Always posting all kinds of great articles and such. But hey, here we're talking about Led Zeppelin's debut record, and I can't believe that this record is 55 years old. I mean, this definitely came out before I was born, for sure. But I feel like I've been listening to this record my entire life, having grown up a Led Zeppelin fan through my parents, and Led Zeppelin was always on in the house, especially, growing up in the New York area as well. 102.7 WNEW FM, what it used to be. They used to always get the Let Out, and they played tons of Led Zeppelin. So this record has always been a staple in my my repertoire of go-to albums and songs. And I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. I love Jimmy Page. He's one of my favorite guitar players of all time. One of the guitar players that inspired me to start playing guitar. He's up on there. He's up there with Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads for sure. And this record was released actually in 1969. This actually came out specifically, is released in the UK on January 12th, 1969. And I think a lot of people know the background of this record for the most part. Maybe some of our younger listeners and viewers may not. But this is one of these debut records, where it's sort of the stuff of legends, recorded in like 30 hours or 36 hours or something crazy like that. And at the time, Jimmy Page was in a band called the Yardbirds, which were a hugely influential band back in England. And you also had like Eric Clapton and Jeff Beck playing that band, and Jimmy Page was in that band. The Yardbirds had broken up, and he had started a new band, which he was calling the New Yardbirds, who would eventually become Led Zeppelin. But at the time they were recording this, they weren't even really officially Led Zeppelin yet. They were still sort of the New Yardbirds. And he got together with Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, Sean Bonham, and they basically started off playing the classic Train Kept a Rollin', which is what this article goes into and talks about. He used to do it with the Yardbirds, and so sort of picked a song that they all knew, and they started doing it, and sort of the chemistry was right there. And the songs just kept coming, and so they recorded this in London's Olympic Studios for a bargain basement budget of £1,782, by the way. So if you're into pounds, if you know that translation, actually, I don't know what that translation is. So if you're listening and you know what that pounds to dollars translation is, please let me know. But yeah, they recorded a whole record in a matter of, I think, yeah, like I said in this article, it's about 30 to 36 hours. And Jimmy Page basically paid for the whole thing. They weren't even signed to a label or anything yet when they did this. So obviously all huge risk. But and you could go on, you could read this article. I'll post a link to it in the notes so you guys can go in and look at it if you don't know this. But the point is, this sent me down a rabbit hole, right? Because one thing that's never going to stop is time, right? And aging. So this record being 55 years old blew me away. I've been listening to this, like I said, since I was very, very young, and I got into rock and roll at a very early age. It's just something that I grew up with it. It was just around. And so it got me thinking, well, what other records are celebrating anniversaries this year? Now, I didn't go into the 55, but I was like, okay, so I was thinking back. So what other records? There's a lot of records I know, I said, well, let me look at 40th anniversaries. Right, so that would put it in 1984, right? So that's a question for you. What were you guys doing in 1984? What were you listening to in 1984? Because that's when a lot of these records I'm going to be talking about, all these records I'm going to be talking about, came out, were released in 1984. I remember particularly in 1984, I was in a grade school for sure. I believe I was probably in 6th grade at that point. Let me do the math. Let's do some real time math. Let's see when how old Chris was in 1984, because I remember the list of records that I'm going to be talking about here. I remember when all these records came out. I remember when they all came out. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What were you guys doing in 1984? So let's see. So let's see. Doing some quick math here. I would have been let's see. Yeah, 10 years old I would have been, because I was born in 1974. So I would have been 10 years old. But I remember a lot of these records coming out. And I actually own a majority of these records now. Some of them I remember getting when they came out. I think the first record I ever owned, and it used to sit back here, but I think I moved it. But the first record I ever bought was Kiss Destroyer, and I got that in 1977. First record I ever owned. What was some of the first records you ever owned? Let me know in the comments below. This is a very participatory show today, so please feel free to leave comments, razz me, whatever. Share some of your thoughts especially about a lot of these records we're gonna be talking about. But yeah, 1984, 10 years old. Listening to a lot of rock, a lot of classic rock, a lot of Van Halen, a lot of Kiss back in the day, for sure. That was definitely the pocket. And one record we'll be talking about in particular is 1984 by Van Halen, which came out in 1984. So, well, let's get into this then. Let's explore some of the records that are turning 40 this year. And actually, one of them on this list, I actually already made a video about that I posted on Shorts, on YouTube Shorts and Instagram and all that, and social media. So this is coming courtesy, thank you, by the way, 93.3 WMMR, for compiling the list of albums that turn 40 this year. Records that released in 2024 that turned 40, which would be, once again, 1984. So let's look at this list and see what we got here. So here we go right away. Van Halen's 1984. Released on January 9th, 1984. This was, of course, the last album to feature David Lee Roth. And if anybody, the people from our generation, if they remember, that was a huge split that David Lee Roth left Van Halen. He left. He decided to go off and do his own solo thing. And then you had basically the Van Hagar. You had Sammy Hagar become the lead singer of Van Halen in 1986. They dropped 5150. And David Lee Roth had Eat 'Em and Smile. And there's all this, weird back and forth press stuff, which album is better, and the Van Halen versus David Lee Roth it was great. It was a great time to be alive back then. That all we had to worry about was who was going to be singing for Van Halen and who had the better record, Van Halen with Sammy Hagar or the David Lee Roth solo record. Those were great times, everybody. It was the only thing to worry about, which was awesome. However, in 1984, Van Halen's record dropped, and this by far was one of their biggest commercial releases to date at that time. And Van Halen, not that they weren't a well-known band, but this record definitely put them over the top. I mean, and I remember you couldn't go anywhere without hearing Jump on the radio. That was such a huge rock radio hit. And then, of course, they released Panama and Hot for Teacher music video. I mean, holy cow, what a great record. Just so many great songs. I'll Wait. My personal favorite on this record is Top Jimmy. That's one of my favorite songs on this record. I think this record is just solid. I mean, I know you get some people that prefer the classic Van Halen. I mean, my favorite Van Halen record is Fair Warning. That's my personal favorite record, which is tough because I like all especially the David Lee Roth era records. And I do like the Sammy stuff, but I kind of separate them a little bit. But man, this record is absolutely awesome. But yeah, let me know, guys. I mean, what do you think of Van Halen's 1984? What's your favorite tune off this record? I was a little young. I was 10, so I didn't get to go see Van Halen in concert in 1984. My uncle Lenny was actually one who got me way into Van Halen back in the day. I mean, he was a Van Halen nut, and he got me way into them. And I'm pretty sure, if he's listening, I'm pretty sure he went to go see them at Madison Square Garden during this tour. I'm pretty sure that happened, but man, and this was on MTV all the time. This music video for Jump. This was definitely on. I mean, you couldn't not hear this song. So let's watch a little of this. This brings back some great memories. Oh yeah. Man, I love Eddie. Here he is. Oh yeah.
And nothing gets me down.
There you go. Nothing gets you down.
You got it tough. I've seen the toughest around. And I know, baby, just how you feel. You got to roll with the punches and get to what's real.
All right, so everybody knows this song. I don't need to keep playing it, but that was a huge hit, and so this record turned 40 already because it was released on January 9th. So there you go, everybody. This list is going to make you feel very old today. So congratulations, everybody. This record is 40 years old. All right, so let's move on here. What else is on this list? So we got U2, The Unforgettable Fire. U2's fourth studio record, The Unforgettable Fire, was released October 1st, 1984. It features the hit Pride, In the Name of Love, and, of course, the fan favorite Bad, which, yes, that is a really good song. Man, U2 Unforgettable Fire. So I will say that I am personally not a huge U2 fan. That being said, there's definitely a lot of U2 songs I like. This was a record back in the day when I was obviously 10, wasn't really on my radar much. I discovered U2 a little bit later on, especially during Joshua Tree era. I was a little bit older, and those songs, which was a huge record for that band. I mean, Joshua Tree definitely took the band into different areas, solidified them. I think their legacy as a big rock band, and then of course they made some turns later on in some of their later records, but U2 Unforgettable Fire is, as far as this band go, an important part of their catalog and their legacy. I mean, Pride in the Name of Love, great song. I mean, excellent song. So I've always liked that song. I've always thought it's a very good song. The one record I do like a lot, actually, from U2, and it's an EP. It was a Live at Red Rocks EP, and I have that, and I love it because the band sounds great. It's live, tons of energy. And even during this era of U2, they have a lot of energy, and even some of that, you can hear some of that punky influence, that punky elements to them. In that early 80s, I mean 1984, so there you go, like basically mid 80s sounding U2. And that tends to be my favorite era of U2. I know, obviously, like I said, they went on, they started doing some of their other stuff like Octoon Baby and Pop and all that, and so on and so forth. But I mean, if you're going to give me any kind of era of U2, this is sort of the era I like the most. This record, Joshua Tree's great record. These early U2 records are pretty good. I wouldn't consider myself, though, once again, a big U2 fan, but I'm definitely a fan of their tunes. So let's listen to a little bit of this. Bad, which is, this is a really good tune, though. Really good song. The Edge with that guitar sound, man. Definitely cornered the market on the super delay pedal.
If you twist and turn away, if you tear yourself into again,
It's a good song. Really good tune.
if I could, yes I would. If I could, I would let it go.
Yeah, it's a good one. So definitely, I like that song a lot, I will say. So I would go back and actually re-listen to this whole record now that I'm talking about this. But once again, for those of you into U2, this is turning 40 on October 1st. So U2 Forgettable Fire turning 40 this year. So Tina Turner, God bless her. What a comeback record this was. You cannot have a discussion about 1984 without talking about Tina Turner's Private Dancer record, which, oh my gosh, yeah, and it says here, one of the greatest comeback records of all time. Absolutely agreed. This album sold over 12 million copies worldwide, won 4 Grammy Awards, including Record of the Song, Record of the Year, and Song of the Year for What's Love Got to Do with It. Holy cow. Tina Turner, 1980s Tina Turner in general. She came back absolutely on fire. I mean, her voice, absolutely stunning. Such an amazing artist, performer, musician. Just absolutely stunning. I mean, really. And this record, Private Dancer, I mean, this was everywhere and anywhere. It was all over the radio, all over MTV for sure. I mean, this music video for What's Love Got to Do with It was everywhere. And the classic, with the Tina Turner with the hair and the jean jacket. Let's watch a little bit of this. I'm like, getting nostalgic. Yep, there it is, New York City. Beautiful New York City in the 1980s. There you go. Man, this song was great. Still great.
You must understand.
Man, what a voice.
The touch of your hand makes my pulse react.
There you go.
That it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than that. Oh, what's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
I mean, what an iconic image, too. Once again, Tina Turner walking around New York City, 1980s New York City, a New York City that a lot of younger people don't know about. So, including my daughter, who now lives in New York. She's experiencing a much different version of New York City than the one that was in the 1980s. But yeah, Tina with the little jean jacket walking around, singing. Great video. Awesome record. Private Dancer. Turning 40 this year. released May 12th, 1980, or May 29th, sorry, 1984. So another record hitting 40. So what else we have here? So the Replacements, Let It Be. So the Replacements were definitely a band that I could say I was 100% not into at this time at all. Like, the Replacements weren't on my radar. I'd never heard the Replacements. I discovered the Replacements much, much later. Actually, even more so, like, even when I was in college and stuff like that, and kind of really, that's when, you know, my musical palette really opened up. And once I got more into, like, punk and everything, the Replacements were a band everybody used to talk about all the time. So I started listening to them. And, man, what a great band. I mean, this record, too, Let It Be. This was released October 2nd, 1984, and definitely a very cool band, very influential band. A lot of artists, when you hear them do interviews, will talk about the Replacements being being influence on them for sure, especially this record in particular. So let's check out a little bit of the Replacements here with Unsatisfied. That's the song we got here. I love that guitar. Super chorusy, super wet. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, great stuff. I mean, and this, you know, and you think about, too, the artists that came out of it. I mean, this band was made up of, you know, the Stinson brothers. So you had Bob Stinson, Tommy Stinson, Chris Mars, and Paul Westerberg. So all great songwriters and musicians in their own right. And great record, man. Actually, I got to go back and really listen to this one again. But Let It Be by the Replacements, turning 40 this year. Here you go. Madonna, Like a Virgin. All right, we all know this one. Second album came out, Like a Virgin. This was the record that literally blew up Madonna. I mean, holy cow, Like a Virgin, released November 12th, 1984. Dress You Up, Material Girl, Like a Virgin. This record is just hit after hit. I mean, unreal. I mean, Madonna, this is the record that literally launched Madonna into, like, the stratosphere. And, of course, you know, Madonna has always reinvented herself, always surrounded herself with the best producers and songwriters. She's got a great mind for music, great mind as far as, you know, the studio goes, great mind for marketing. She's absolutely outstanding. And, you know, she's still going today, man. Madonna's still out there making waves. Extremely, hugely influential artist to many artists out there, many pop stars. You know, Madonna is really, there wasn't, you know, at this time in the 80s, you know, it was like Madonna, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was enormous, but like Madonna was like right up there, all over MTV. You could not turn on MTV without not seeing Madonna, including this, you know, the classic here, right? Material Girl. I mean, the whole Marilyn Monroe tribute.
She should be a star.
She could be great. She could be a major star.
She is a star.
Robert Wolf.
The biggest star in the universe right now as we speak. Those who love the set, the director's got all kinds of things. God, got it.
There you go. Holy cow. Unbelievable. 1984, Madonna here. Material Girl.
Yeah, he's still after me. He just gave me a necklace.
And this was
I
too
don't
when
know, I think it's real
MTV.
diamonds. Yeah, he thinks he can impress me by giving me
Stop this.
expensive.
So this is a time too when some of the videos on MTV, you start getting almost like these little, almost like mini, like little short films. Like they start putting dialogue in some of the music videos. Most notably, David Bowie had a one of his songs. I can't remember. It was like almost like a short film. It was like 15, 20 minutes long. Thriller by Michael Jackson was basically a short film. You had a lot of artists kind of doing this where it was the music video, but there was a little bit more going on, which, you see a lot of that now, right? That's very commonplace for a lot of music videos, especially, we've talked about Ice Nine Kills a lot on this show, and they're always recreating movie scenes, and they do dialogue breaks and things like that. But back in the 80s, like early MTV, that was like, holy cow, this was kind of like new, and this was a little bit of a trend. And it definitely was cool. I mean, I think it made the music videos more entertaining. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys let me know. But yeah, you used to have these little dialogue breaks and things like that.
Expensive gifts. It's nice though.
That's great. I mean, I mean that's such a huge record, man. Monumental. So, Madonna, Like a Virgin, turning 40 this year. The more I read these, the more older and older I feel. That's it. I feel very old. All right, Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Released July 27th, 1984. Critically acclaimed, beloved by fans. The album features the hits Creeping Death, Fade to Black, and For Whom the Bell Tolls. Metallica, Ride the Lightning. So I will say, as the resident metalhead on Song Swap Showdown, is that this album in particular, I didn't find Metallica, once again, till a little bit later in life, right? I wasn't at 10 years old, right? Because Chris is 10 years old in 1984. Metallica's not really on my radar, right? This is a little underground for me still. Metallica's not mainstream yet. They're still an underground thrash metal band. I was not listening to thrash metal at 10 years old. I was listening to Van Halen. I was listening to Kiss. I was listening to like Iron Maiden, Def Leppard. It was kind of above. This was very, at the time, I know it seems silly to say now, but at the time, this was very underground music, thrash metal. This was like kind of scary stuff to listen to. This just was not on my radar. I didn't even know in 1984 that Metallica was even existed yet. So I did not listen to this when it came out. Later on, so I probably didn't start listening to Metallica until about 8th grade, right? So that was around 1988, 89. Just about when Injustice for All, I think, was about to drop, because I think I was in high school by the time one came out. So I got into Metallica right in that in-between of Master of Puppets and Injustice for All, when I got into when I personally discovered Metallica. And then after listening to Master of Puppets and Injustice for All, when that dropped, I then went back and I got into Ride the Lightning and then Kill 'Em All. And man, Ride the Lightning, what a great record. Great metal record. Great encapsulation of that time, especially from Metallica. I like this record more than I like Kill 'Em All. Kill 'Em All is very raw. It's fast. It's angry. It's almost like punky, like a little hardcore. Like, it's great. It's definitely metal. Ride the Lightning definitely takes it up a notch for them. Better song rating, definitely leaning way more into the metal. Longer structured songs. This is when they start getting the longer songs. But man, Ride the Lightning, great record. There's so many awesome songs on this record, including, as we were just talking about, Creeping Death, Fade to Black, For Whom the Bell Tolls. So if you have never sat down and listened, I mean, at this point, if you're listening to any kind of metal, you've listened to Ride the Lightning. I mean, this is just a classic. But even this record cover with the chair, I used to see dudes walking around in the mall when I was young. You used to hang out at Willowbrook Mall, and you see everybody with the Metallica, and they'd be like that with the chair, like this exact album cover with the chair and the lightning and the Metallica logo, walking around with the long hair, being all cool and metal and stuff. And I'd be like, whoa, that guy looks awesome. Look at him. He's wearing his Metallica shirt. Very cool. very, very cool to a very young version of Chris. But yeah, this record's great. So let's check this out. I think everybody here's heard For Whom the Bell Tolls. at this point, but just to give you a little sample of this song. You can't go to a sports stadium without hearing this. I mean, come on. I mean, you can't not get into that. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, you don't even hear the first lyric. It's like a minute and 16. Let's see. Yeah, it's literally all music before you even hear Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it's 2 minutes and 6 seconds before the first lyric is sung. I love it. Total metal. I love this. Love this record. Ride the Lightning. Classic. Turning 40 this year, everybody. Turning 40. God, we are old. All right. The Pretenders, Learning to Crawl. Pretenders were definitely another band that very important to rock and roll here. Learning to Crawl was their third studio record, released on January 13th, 1984. So that anniversary was just this past weekend. The album features Middle of the Road, 2,000 Miles, and Back on a Chain Gang. Early MTV used to play the heck out of these videos for all these. 2,000 Miles, very big song. This is a really good, solid record. I mean, the Pretenders definitely have their punk rock roots. Chrissie Hynde, awesome, just amazing singer-songwriter. Pretenders, great rockin' band. They actually recently were just on tour with Guns N' Roses, I think last year, opening a bunch of shows for Guns N' Roses. So just goes to show how the Pretenders are still a very influential band to many of the very big bands. I mean, you talk about Guns N' Roses, when you read their books, they talk about the Pretenders and Chrissie Hynde, and I mean, that's just one band, but like the Pretenders, big band. Absolutely love Chrissie Hynde's voice, and they used to play Back on a Chain Gang all the time. I remember that video on MTV. But let's check out a little bit of the Pretenders, Learning to Crawl. Middle of the Road is the song off that record. I mean, what a riff.
Middle of the road, he's trying to find me. I'm standing in the middle of life with my pants behind me. Yeah, I got a smile.
There you go.
For everyone I meet. As long as you don't try dragging my bag or dropping the bomb on my street. Come on, baby. Get
Love
in
that.
the road. Come on now. In the middle of the road, yeah.
Yeah, great song. So I highly urge you guys, if you've never checked out the Pretenders, check out Learning to Crawl. Great record, very solid. I think it's a great starting point for the Pretenders. Their earlier stuff, if you like definitely the much more faster, more punky stuff, the early Pretenders records, the first two are like that. This record is great because it's just more of that transition, and I think it's a great just melding of like their two sounds and just becoming more of like a rock radio band, but still not really losing their roots. So it's just a nice evolution for the Pretenders. So check out the Pretenders, Learning to Crawl, another record turning 40 this year. Man, oh man. All right. Now, I just made a video about this. This is actually on our YouTube channel, and I think our Insta and TikTok and all that, but if you follow us. But we released a little short, been doing some shorts. I'm going to be doing some shorts on some of the records I own that are turning 40 this year. Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest. Wow. And let me tell you, Judas Priest has had some career, man. Absolutely an amazing career. it just, I mean, when you talk about like metal icons who absolutely have influenced what metal is, and it's just so many bands. It's just absolutely outstanding how many bands that this band has influenced. They are literally the legends of, when you think about like British heavy metal, that new wave, and bands that have just really, like, when you talk about bands like Metallica, you know, and even some of the newer metal bands, like, they do always cite Judas Priest as an influence. And I read Rob Halford's book. It's fantastic. It's actually very eye-opening to a lot of the things that were going on very early on in the music scene, the metal music scene, and their evolution as a band. You know, they basically, that twin guitar attack between KK Downing and Glenn Tipton really created that metallic sound, that like that dual guitar attack sound that just Judas Priest became so well known for, such a signature part of the Judas Priest sound. And then you had bands like Iron Maiden pioneer their like dual guitar sound. Two great, very influential when it comes to that kind of thing, but like very different. And Judas Priest were like the definition of like metal in that sense. And absolutely, Defenders of the Faith, for me personally, was the one Judas Priest record that you like, they really, like, you had Defenders of Faith, Screaming for Vengeance, like, it really set them on this trajectory that I personally feel like definitely solidified their stake in the metal ground, as far as like developing a sound that really, it was there, but like really just leaned into it. And that guitar attack sound, man, holy cow, like, just awesome record. So if you've never listened to Defenders of the Faith, please do so. There are outstanding songs on that record. Love Bites, Free Will Burning, Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. Jawbreaker is one of my favorites on that record. Definitely a fan favorite. I love when they play that live. Great tune. So check out Defenders of the Faith, man. I'm telling you, if you dig metal and you've never really listened to much Judas Priest, I would definitely say, I mean, Painkiller for me is like a seminal record. Painkiller, that's outstanding record, but Defenders of the Faith, you don't get Painkiller as a Judas Priest record unless Defenders of the Faith comes out. That's it. So let's listen to a little bit about Love Bites here. And they got the album cover for this record is great too, by the way. When you talk about metal records.
When you feel safe, when you feel warm, that's when I rise, that's when I crawl, gliding a mist, hardly a sound, bringing the kiss, evils abound, in the dead of night, love bites,
Yes.
love bites, in the dead of night, love bites, into your room.
There you go. Love Bites. Definitely great song. So yeah, I just gotta show this real quick, because the album cover for this, this is the great thing about metal, right? Is the album covers that you'd get. Look at this album cover. This is actually from the cassette deck. When you used to buy cassettes, sometimes it would be this, right? You'd get this would be the front, and it would say the name, and you'd have all the songs right underneath. It'd be all on a cassette. But that screams metal. I don't like, if you had to, this would be hanging up. This poster would be hanging up on a lot of metalheads' walls back in the day. This album cover, just an awesome album cover to display. I mean, what Defenders of Faith? What screams more metal than this, right? The Metallion, or whatever he is, the mascot, the Metallion or something like that. That's metal. That is it right there. So, Defenders of the Faith celebrating 40 years, and that was released actually also this past weekend. That's when the anniversary of this record was, January 13th, 1984. All right, let's keep moving here. Iron Maiden, Powerslave. So here we go. And this is where it's been like a lot of these records that I really, these are some of the records I discovered and really enjoyed. And my Iron Maiden and Powerslave was when I was talking about bands that I got into. Now, Iron Maiden, was a band that if early MTV, right? So early MTV, dial it back to the 80s now, not MTV now or not even MTV in the 90s or anything like that. MTV at their start. There was really only so many music videos, right? So they had a lot of music videos in heavy rotation right away, and it was all different genres. Like you had metal, you had pop, you had rock, you had R&B. They just played it. They just played it because they didn't have a lot. And Iron Maiden had videos back in the day. Like Run to the Hills was on constant rotation on MTV, right? And that was a record that came out. Number of the Beast was out in before this. So this was 80. The Powerslave was 84. Number of the Beast, I believe, was like 82, 83. And those videos off this record would be played. So Aces High, 2 minutes to midnight. Like you would turn on MTV in the middle of the day and 2 minutes for midnight would be on. Like you see Ozzy Osbourne's Bark at the Moon. Like these records would be, these songs would be on in regular rotation on MTV. And so I managed to get into Iron Maiden at a very early age because I was watching MTV at that time. So right in there with like Van Halen 1980, hearing Jump, then you'd get like Iron Maiden 2 minutes at midnight. You get the Pretenders, like all the stuff that I'm talking about. You would get Pride, and like you would get U2. All these records that I'm going through, they had music videos, and you would see them during regular time on MTV. And sometimes they'd be conceptual, sometimes they'd just be complete performance videos, which was still a very big thing back in the day. So 2 minutes from midnight, Iron Maiden, Powerslave, this video, or this record in particular, I absolutely love this record. My favorite Iron Maiden record might be Peace of Mind, but Powerslave is right up there. Like I'd say it's very very close to being one of my favorite Iron Maiden records. And of course, the tour that followed this, Live After Death, which gave us the greatest home video, concert home video of all time, which I still watch, by the way. I used to have it on VHS. I now have it on DVD, and probably digital somewhere too. But I still watch that, and there's nothing beats that Iron Maiden Live After Death stage set when they were touring this record and the double LP for Live After Death. One of the greatest live records of all time, in my opinion. But for those of you that have never heard Maiden's 2 Minutes of Midnight or anything off this record, Aces High, just an outstanding album. I love Iron Maiden. I know they're going on tour again this year. I absolutely would love to go see them. But here's a little bit of 2 minutes for midnight, 2 minutes of midnight from Powerslave. Another record turning 40 years old. Outstanding.
Kill for gain, or shoot to maim, but we don't need a reason. The golden goose is on the loose and never out of season. Black and pride still burns inside this shell of bloody treason. Here's my gun for the barrel of fun, for the love of living dead. The killer's breed, or the demon seed, the glamour, the fortune, the pain. Go to war again, blood is freedom's stain. Don't you pray for my soul anymore. 2 minutes to midnight, the hands that threaten
Awesome stuff.
to home. 2 minutes to midnight, to kill the unborn in the womb.
All right, so a little 2 minutes of midnight there for you. And by the way, too, another classic album cover. So let me share that really quick too, because also the greatest thing about being in Iron Maiden was also their album covers. And the album cover for this, Powerslave. I mean, I would stare at these Iron Maiden record covers forever. The artist who did all these early records, Derek Riggs, look him up. Outstanding artist. He did all these early Iron Maiden records. I think straight up and through to to Somewhere in Time, or Seventh Son of Seventh Son. I think not Fear of the Dark, No Prayer for the Dying. I don't think that was him. But I mean, Iron Maiden, all my Iron Maiden fans out there, let me know. But yeah, the Powers, I used to stare at, because they would hide things. The art in these are great. Always Iron Eddie, their mascot, always incorporated into artwork. One of the most fun things about Iron Maiden is their artwork in these album covers. And Powerslave, this is iconic. This was their Egyptian phase, right? So they always had different themes and phases for every single record, and this was the Egyptian theme. So it was great. Absolutely awesome stuff. So Iron Maiden's Powerslave, turning 40 this year. Holy smokes. Wow. All right. So we got a few more in this list that I just kind of want to go through. We've got Rush's Grace Under Pressure. Love Distant Early Warning, Red Sector A. That's released on April 12th, 1984. Great record, too. Really like Grace Under Pressure. This is definitely the band when they're going through more of their synth sound type of thing. So check out that for sure. I mean, I think this is, Distant Early Warning. Great song. Great song. Rush. Never the band that girls were into. I mean, they're always dudes in the Rush. definitely not a band that attracted a lot of the females. Definitely great tune though, man. I love Distant Early Warning. Yeah, so check out Grace Under Pressure. Cars, Heartbeat City. Now, another record that was on MTV constantly was this record. All the songs. I mean, every single on this record, like, freaking went nuts. Cars, Heartbeat City. Definitely, too, a much more, like, the Cars were always, to me, I always thought the Cars were such a cool band. Definitely 80s, like, the new wave, but they definitely did a great job crossing over, becoming more mainstream, and being even more pop. And I thought that they did the pop with the 80s, like, synthwave sound, like, just really well done. I mean, this, and of course, Rick Ocasek, legendary producer, produced the Bad Brains, produced Weezer's debut record, which that turns 30 this year, by the way, everybody. Weezer Blue record. But before all that, like, well, he did do the Bad Brains early on, but this record, Heartbeat City, say what you want about this. I know it's not some people's favorite because it's more mainstream and had a lot of hits, but man, this is hit after hit on this record. And I mean, Drive, oh, what a beautiful song. And this is too, Benjamin Orr in this record. Everybody thinks a lot about Rick Ocasek, but Benjamin Orr, who actually passed away early on, very young, such a huge songwriter and such a driving force of the Cars. And in fact, Drive was his song. I mean, he sings it. He wrote that song. That's his song. It's a beautiful tune. But, the other fun songs You Might Think, Magic, these are great songs, man. I honestly think they hold up. I mean, that's just me. But here's a little bit of Drive. I mean, everybody knows this song for the most part. It's a great song. Beautiful song. So moody. Deftones, a lot of people have covered this song.
Who's gonna tell you when it's too late? Who's gonna tell you things aren't so great?
Really beautiful tune.
You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong. Who's gonna drive you home tonight?
Yeah, I definitely highly recommend going back and re-listening to Heartbeat City. Excellent record, and I really do love that song, Drive, man. It's just a nice, haunting song. Very dark for a band, too, like the Cars, who actually wrote a lot of very upbeat, poppy songs. So that was definitely a little departure, but that was a huge hit. That was a big, big hit back in the day. So, all right, Wham! Make It Big. Turning 40 this year, October 15th, 1984. Careless Whisper, Freedom, Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Every single song's massive hits. Wham. I think a lot of people look back at Wham now, especially now that George Michael's no longer with us. And, he had a very successful solo career. But the songs of Wham, sometimes it's like people go, "Oh, these corny," and these songs hold up, and I think the band themselves, I think people really look back fondly now on Wham than they did back then, maybe thinking they were just sort of like another like boy band, UK boy band. But really, the songwriting and George Michael, very very gifted songwriter, and I feel like that this record definitely deserves, if you haven't gone back and listen to it with sort of the ears now of not being that these guys were just a boy pop band back in the day, but actually like really good, very talented musicians. And you can actually hear, especially like Careless Whisper and Free, like these songs are just great, man. They really, really do resonate today. I still think they do. So check out another record that turns 40, Wham! Make It Big. Let's hear a little bit of the classic Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Great, great fun song. We've talked about this song on the show before too. But really,
You put the boom boom into my heart. You send my soul sky high when your loving starts. A jitterbug into my brain. Goes to bang 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 till my feet do the same. But something's bugging me, something ain't right. My best friend told me what you did last night. You left me sleeping in my bed. I was dreaming, but I should have been with you instead. Wake me up before you go. Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo.
song. You can't help it, man. You gotta get into this.
I don't wanna miss it when you hit that high. Wake me up before you go.
It's all the dancing in this
I'm
video.
not planning on going solo. Wake me up before you go. Take me dancing tonight.
Yeah, great tune. So love that one. Make It Big. Released October 15th, 1984. Celebrating 4 years. Scorpions, Love at First Sting. Now, my wife and I, we have a running joke. It's literally like, if you listen to Sirius XM, I feel like any of the rock stations, the Scorpions are constantly on. No matter what time of day it is, you can turn it on and there's some Scorpion songs on. And the Scorpions have had such an extremely long career. They have written hundreds of songs, but for whatever reason, we only ever hear the same few songs, including this one, Rock Me Like a Hurricane, came out on Love at First Sting, released March of in 1984. By far, the Scorpions, as it says here, the most successful record in their most successful record in the United States, featuring Big City Nights, Still Loving You, Rock You Like a Hurricane. These songs are great. I mean, they're great tunes. Scorps have been around forever, influenced countless numbers of bands. Definitely an international, very global loved band. The U.S., as they said, this is the song that really broke through for them. You still hear Rock You Like a Hurricane. They play that at tons of sports events. Great riff, but when you talk about overplayed songs, rock overplayed songs, definitely Rock You Like a Hurricane is overplayed. I would also put Big City Nights in there as well, but just because I listen to Sirius XM a lot, and it's like, the Scorps have other songs. No one Like You, that's on their other record. But that's another one that gets overplayed way too much. But I do remember when this was a world premiere on MTV, it was a big deal. It was like, new Scorpions. Because MTV used to kind of do these promos for like world premiere videos. Like that was and they would do a promo. And so this promo would come up for Love at First Sting, and they would say new album or new video for Rock You Like a Hurricane coming out, and they would give the day and all that, and it was like a big deal to have a world premiere video. So I remember when this dropped on MTV, and this was a big deal. So here's a little bit of, if you've never heard Rock You Like a Hurricane, here's a little bit of that. Also, this music video is kind of great. It's just classic 80s metal. Girls in cages. The band playing. Always some kind of animal, like big cat. Why do bands make music videos like this anymore? It's like sci-fi, mystic fantasy.
So what is wrong with another sin? The bitch is hungry, she needs to tell. So give her inches and feed her well. More days to come, new places to go. I've got to leave.
Here we go, big chorus. Fist pumping here.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
All right, so Klaus Meine, the lead singer, I think he might be, I don't know if he takes the cake for being shortest singer in metal. However, our next artist that we're going to be talking about who released a record in 1984, he may take the cake, and that is the one and only Ronnie James Dio. Last in Line, second studio record from Dio, released on July 2nd, 1984. I love this record, featuring Re-Rock, Mystery, and of course, Last in Line. Once again, talking about music videos that were on MTV, because MTV didn't have a ton of music videos, so everything was in rotation. Last in Line, always on MTV. Always on MTV. As I take a drink here, because I'm losing my voice. This was always on MTV back in the day, for sure. You couldn't turn it on without seeing this, or even then Rainbow in the Dark. Eventually, that would be on, where Dio's like got the sword and he's on the rooftop and all that. But Last in Line was like a little more conceptual, a little more dark. Just definitely went along with the lyrics of the song. But I think Dio may take the cake for shortest metal singer. I'm not sure. If anybody out there can confirm that, let me know. It's Klaus Meine from the Scorpions, definitely a short dude. But I think Ronnie James Dio is a little bit shorter. Anyway, Ronnie James Dio, of course, as everybody knows, was the lead singer of Black Sabbath, and also Rainbow, Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow as well. He found himself out of Black Sabbath around this time, and I watched the Dio documentary, by the way. If you've never seen it, I forgot where it's at. Just Google it. You'll see it streaming. Watch it. It's absolutely amazing. What a terrific human being Ronnie James Dio was, and his story is absolutely inspiring, because he went through a lot, and went through a lot of ups and downs. And Dio, when he went off on his own, really put everything he had into making it. He did not have a lot money at that time. He had gotten fired from Black Sabbath, and there really wasn't much, and he decided to do his own band. Everything was pretty much self-financed, and he really put all his eggs into the basket, really believed in himself. And but it wasn't easy. And listening, you got to watch the documentary. Is absolutely amazing. What a wonderful story of a guy who just really believed himself and went for it and took the risk, and it paid off for him. Big time, obviously, because we're still talking about Ronnie James Dio today. But Last in Line, second studio record, and he really needed to hit it out of the park with this one, and boy, did he. And this record, to me, this is a staple in my record collection, Last in Line. Actually, all the last bunch of records are staple. Scorpions are not so much. I'm not a big Scorps fan, but Last in Line, definitely something that's in my repertoire. So let's check out a little bit of Last in Line here. Great music video. Gotta love how this song starts too. You're like, ooh, this is nice. It's like, oh, this is a nice song.
We're a ship without a storm, a cold without a warm.
The laters.
Light inside the darkness that it needs, yeah. We're a laugh without a tear,
Love metal videos.
hope without the fear. We are coming.
And then great stuff. Highly recommend going back and watch that entire music video. I may have to do a reaction video with this with Amanda because I doubt she's ever seen this, so that would be a fun music video reaction video to do with Amanda for sure. But check out this record is great though. Last in Line DLS, it's just great record. Turning 40, everybody, turning 40. So, all right, Bruce Springsteen, born in the U.S.A. Released June 4th, 1984. Of course, loaded with the songs Glory Days, Cover Me, I'm on Fire, Dancing in the Dark, featuring a very young Courtney Cox, and of course, Born in the U.S.A., the title track. It remains his most commercially successful record in his entire catalog. Now, I know I get a lot of crap on the show sometimes for being not a very, consider I'm from Jersey. Everybody assumes from Jersey everybody's a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I am not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. I do not worship at the altar of Bruce Springsteen. I do like songs, especially his older material. I really dig, but I wouldn't consider myself a Bruce Springsteen fan. I've never gone to see Bruce live. I don't go to the stadiums and watch the 3.5 hour, 4 hour shows he puts on. I respect it. I'm glad he has a lot of fans out there. I have people in my family who are huge Bruce fans. I think it's cool, just not for me. But this record, I do recognize it. This was a huge song. Born in the USA, gigantic hit song. Glory Days, I remember watching music. All these songs were on MTV constantly. And listen, I think the big thing is that Born in the USA often, most people don't actually realize what that song is truly about. It's often a mystery. It's often people think it's like a full-throated patriotic theme. And according to songfacts.com, by the way, I wanted to pull this up, is that Born in the USA is about the problems of Vietnam veterans faced when they returned to America. While veterans of other wars received heroes and welcomes, those who fought in Vietnam were mostly ignored when they returned to their homeland, and many suffered from PTSD and other ailments. The song was inspired by a chance encounter with Ron Kovac, who was confined in a wheelchair after being shot while fighting in the Vietnam War. Kovac, who enlisted in the war to fight in the war, later protested against it, becoming a leader of the anti-war movement in 1976. He published a book called Born on the 4th of July that told the story. And in 1989, it was made into a movie starring Tom Cruise as Kovac. Bruce Springsteen picked up a copy of the book in 1980 when he was on a cross-country road trip with a buddy. They're outside of Phoenix, and Bruce found it at a drugstore. After two weeks later, Springsteen was in L.A., staying at the Sunset Marquis Hotel, where remarkably Kovacs was staying. They met in the pool area and had a long conversation, with Kovacs inviting Springsteen to join him on a visit to the Veterans Center in nearby Venice. Bruce accepted the invitation and found the visit quite enlightening. Bruce said, I'm usually pretty easy with people, but once we're at the center, I didn't know how to respond to what I was seeing, he said during his Springsteen on Broadway residency. Talking about my life to these guys seemed frivolous. There was homelessness and drug problems and post-traumatic stress guys my age dealing with life-changing physical injuries. Springsteen used their stories for the basis of the songs. The verses are just an accounting of events, he said. The chorus is a declaration of your birthplace and a right to all the pride and confusion and shame and grace that comes with it. So, for those of you out there singing Born in the USA, great patriotic song. This is actually the real meaning of the song. Look it up, songfacts.com. It's all on there. However, this record, turning 40, hugely successful record, spawning all these hits. And, of course, the first song that I heard from this record was this, because it was on MTV constantly, which is Dancing in the Dark. Actually, by the way, another dark song, all right?
I get up in the evening and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning, I go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing but tired. Man, I'm just tired and bored with myself. Hey there, baby, I could use just a little help. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire. Even if we're just dancing in the dark.
So there you go. And I think Courtney Cox shows up later on in a bit. Oh, yeah. If anybody's never seen this video before, here we go. Little young Courtney Cox. There you go. There you go, everybody. In case you've never seen that music video. All right. So listen, we've been at this for a while. The list is pretty extensive. I'm going to put this link to the list in the notes here so that way you guys can check it out and see who else is on here. But just to kind of cruise through it, and then we'll get to the last record on here. Footloose soundtrack, released in 1984. Mega hit, selling over 9 million copies in the United States, featuring Kenny Loggins' Footloose, Denise Williams' Let's Hear It for the Boy, and also Mike Reno and Ann Wilson's Almost Paradise, and of course Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero, which is a big song on TikTok currently right now. Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry, right? We got We're Not Gonna Take It, I Want to Rock, classic music videos. In fact, Amanda and I did a video reaction to We're Not Gonna Take It on the channel, so check that out. She had never seen that before prior to that, because Amanda, as we all know, if you listen to the show, she did not grow up with MTV in her house, so she missed out on a lot of the epic music videos that we did all growing up. Bryan Adams' Reckless, selling over 12 million copies worldwide, featuring Run to You, Heaven, and Summer of '69, released November 5th, 1984. REM, Reckoning. This was their second studio record, released April 9th, 1984. If you're into REM, I was not a huge REM fan, so they were 100% not on my radar, but it's crazy to go back and especially listen to some of these older records, and you hear definitely the difference in their sound. Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. This was the soundtrack to their concert film and released in September of '84. Considered one of the greatest concert films and soundtracks of all time. I recently went back and watched the newly remastered version of the film, and it's very cool. Highly recommend going out and checking out that movie if you're into the Talking Heads. If not, I'm sure you've heard a lot of the songs, but I would say go and listen to some Talking Heads stuff and watch that concert film. It's very good, and in fact, they did a great parody of it on the show Documentary Now, with starring Bill Hader. And, God, I'm blanking out. Oh my God. Help me, guys. I can't believe I'm totally blanking out who's in Documentary Now. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Fred Armisen. Fred Armisen, Bill Hader, Seth Meyers, all those guys. But definitely check that out. They do a great parody of that film. The Smiths. This is where it all started with Morrissey. Self-titled debut record from the Smiths. I'm not going to say anything. We all know Morrissey. We all know what kind of person he is. But if you dig the Smiths, this is definitely where it started. Don Henley, Building the Perfect Beast, released November 19th, 1984. Boys of Summer, obviously the Ataris went and made that a very popular song, doing their version of it. All She Wants to Do Is Dance. Definitely an iconic music video as well. Foreigner released Agent Provocateur, December 14th, 1984. Definitely the number one song, I Want to Know What Love Is, which is their only number one single in the U.S. and UK. Everybody knows that song, right? I want to know what love is. Queen, The Works, their 11th studio record. This featured, of course, Hammer to Fall and Radio Gaga and I Want to Break Free, which I Want to Break Free is, I think they use it now on some T-Mobile commercials or something like that, but the video for this, 500 million views on YouTube. Yeah, and this is the band all dressed in drag and all that. Very controversial at the time when that came out in the 80s. But I love Radio Gaga. One of my favorite Queen songs. Absolutely great. Released February 27th, 1984. And of course, we're going to wrap this show up with Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain soundtrack. Man, what an amazing record. As I take another quick drink here, because I've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. But Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain soundtrack, turning 40 this year, released June 25th, 1984. Of course, the 5 hit singles, When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy, Purple Rain, I Would Die For You, and Take Me With You. Absolutely, yes, Purple Rain, one of the still greatest albums and soundtracks of all time. I 100% agree with that statement. I actually have about 3 versions of this record, the actual album, the LP of this. just one of my favorite records of all time. Nothing beats Purple Rain in my eyes, and that guitar solo and how he rips it, and all the stories behind this record, the movie, these songs. It's all very well documented. I highly recommend going and checking out all the stories about it. I will tell you, the movie itself, Purple Rain, I'm gonna be honest, does not hold up. Little cringe. To quote Finn McKenty a lot on a lot of his videos. It is Purple Rain itself as a film does not hold up very well. It's definitely very cringy to watch, very uncomfortable. But the soundtrack, the music for this record, absolutely iconic. I love this record. If you have not gone back and listened to any of these records or any of these songs on this record, I highly recommend it. But I can't believe this is turning 40 years old. And man, I do miss Prince. What an extremely amazing, talented artist that he was, and left us with so much great music. But let's play a little bit of Let's Go Crazy from the soundtrack here. In case you've never heard Let's Go Crazy by Prince and the Revolution off the Purple Rain soundtrack.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life.
Great stuff.
That's a mighty long time, but I'm here to crazy. Punch your higher floor. Don't lie, the world you're living in. Take a look around, at least you got friends. I call my old lady for a friendly word. She picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor. It's all I heard. I'm not gonna let the elevator break us down. Oh no, let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. Let's look for the purple banana till they put us in the truck. Let's go.
Great stuff there. Oh my God, I love this record. It's so good. So real quick too, I mean, just Prince is such an outstanding musician and just a brilliant guitar player. Of course, there's the iconic Super Bowl performance where he played Purple Rain in the rain at, I forget which Super Bowl it was. Just ridiculous. But I got to share this because this is just outstanding. Just to show Prince's prowess as an absolute monster guitar player. This is him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, doing My Guitar Gently Weeps with Tom Petty, Steve Winwood, Jeff Lynne, Donnie Harrison, George Harrison's son. And this is a tribute to George Harrison. You gotta see, I gotta play this. Prince plays the guitar solo here and absolutely destroys. I mean, you watch everybody's faces as this is going on. It absolutely destroys unreal. Rips. So good. You guys get the idea. But I mean, it's just absolutely shreds. I love that. I love that performance by him, and everybody's having so much fun, and you just watch his face. So I mean, Prince. What a I cannot believe he's not with us anymore. What an amazing musician who left us with tons of music. So that is the last record that's turning, well, I'm sure there's other records turning 40, but that's the last record I'm talking about today that's turning 40. Prince and the Revolution, Purple Rain soundtrack. So hey everybody, listen, that wraps it up for me. I hope that you enjoyed this little solo flight that I took today without Amanda. Unfortunately, she's under the weather. So Amanda, I love you. I hope you're feeling better. And for all of you who normally come and check out the show, we do go live every Monday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be back next week for a live show. The show that was supposed to be today, but we're postponing. It'll be next Monday, which is songs that get stuck in your head. So those earworm songs that you can't ever get out of your head once you hear them, we're going to be talking about that. And Amanda and I have each selected 3 songs for each other, and we've swapped them. And so we're going to be rating those on a scale of 1 to 5 records, with 1 being a dumpster fire song and 5 being heavenly music to our ears, going on our Eternity playlist, our Eternity earworm playlist. So that'll be happening next Monday at 8:15 a.m. I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for chilling. Hope this list was fun. Let us know in the comments below if you're watching the replay of this on demand, if you're listening to us on the go, wherever you get podcasts, that's where you can check the show out. We'd love to hear from you guys. What are some of your favorite records that have come out that are turning 40 this year in any genre? I know we only talked about rock this time, but I mean, I know there's hip hop, there's blues, there's jazz, there's country. So plenty of albums, I'm sure, turning 40, iconic records. So let us know in the comments below. What are some of your favorite records that are turning 40? And also the records that we talked about. What are some of your favorite tracks off those records too? We'd love to hear from you guys. And once again, really, thank you all so much for all of your support. Thanks for watching the show. Make sure you do check us out wherever you get podcasts, and hit that subscribe button wherever, if you're listening to us or watching us right here on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, smash that bell so that way you get notified when we drop new episodes of Song Swap Showdown. And when we go live, because we're always putting up highlight clips from the show, we're dropping shorts, we're of course going live, so we're always putting up all kinds of stuff. And coming soon, we're going to be doing some artist interviews as well, so we'll be starting that as a new little series, putting up on the channel as well. So we love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to join our Facebook group, you could do that now by using the link in the show notes below. It's completely free to do. Keep the conversation going. All right, everyone, we will see you next week on another episode of Song Swap Showdown. Make it a great week, as my friend Mark Ronick always says from Next Gen Podcaster. I love the way he says that. I love how he signs off. So make it a great week, everybody, and we will see you next Monday at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for an all-new episode of Chris and Amanda's Song Swap Showdown. Rock it. Cheers.